All right, we're here. It's week 6, so we're right at the beginning of the end of Lost Caverns of Ixalan League. I'm here with Spaghetti Mitch here today on a Friday afternoon to kick off week 6 with a match here. And unfortunately, we're seeing our player Duncan not finding good hands here. Um, and he's going to be playing against Nick S. So, Mitch, what's Nick S holding here?
I'm back, baby. So Nick's got a pretty straight hand right here. He's got
Oh
a
no.
Vanguard of the Rose, and which is a 3/1. An Easy Prey, which is a little removal card. I think it kills a small creature. This card that's being cast,
Soul Cleaver.
Tarian Soul Cleaver. Tithing Blade and a Scampering Surveyor. Scampering Surveyor is the thing that ramps you on turn 4 as a 3/2.
Yeah, so due to the mulligan to 5, Duncan's hand is a straight hands with an X through it, a red X to be specific. He's got a Tinker's Tote, a Guardian of the Great Door, which is that 2 mana but really 6 mana angel. He's got a Plundering Pirate, which he just drew, and a Trumpeting Carnosaur, so a big nice top end card, and a Captivating Cave. So the only thing he can cast for as of now is the Tinker's Tote. It looks like he's probably going to lose either the angel or the pirate here. Um,
Skull, Skullcap was the top deck, so let him get rid of one of those uncastables.
yeah. Yeah, so Duncan, he was I didn't know too much about him until I heard John's podcast last week where he spoke to him, and turns out he goes way back with Jeremy. They were playing Magic in college in the '90s, I believe. So he's it's his first league with us, and it's his first feature match. So we're happy to have him, and he's doing extremely well, 18-7 to start the week. So just really doing very well. And Nick's not doing too bad either, 16-9. He's right now just outside of the top 8 on tiebreakers, but a couple wins and he's vaulting way back up the standings here. And we're seeing the power of this Soul Cleaver, which is a bit of a situational card often, but on this board right now, it's doing okay. But
It buffs the creature that is equipped, so it's not. It kind of resets if you gotta go ahead and equip it on
exactly,
something else.
so like right here, he has to use his Carnosaur, but he's not too proud to just use his Carnosaur as removal.
Tarkir Duneshaper, which is the
Oh,
card that do a Phyrexian, and if you pay green, Phyrexian mana or life.
look, it's thematic.
Uh,
I've got my mind on Tarkir right now because that's my favorite draft format. So you see the
Completely true. Yeah.
Tarkir Dune Shaper. He's not in the Khans of Tarkir, but spiritually he's their kin, I suppose. And
Fanatical,
looks like
sorry,
it's
Fanatical Offering was
yeah,
drawn. No third land. It's unfortunate for Nick.
yeah. This Soul Cleaver is it's situational, right? Like in sort of a drawn out game, it can get you value, but when you're choked on mana and don't have anything to do, like Duncan's on the opposite end. He's got a plains in hand with not much action. Um, but any spell that Duncan draws, he'll be able to cast, such as this Chandra's Pyro Helix he's just found, so he can knock off the dog there and get attacking for 4.
Nick's gonna look to draw a land here. Easy Prey and Tithing Blade can take care of a small thing, but he's taking a little
Easy
beating
Prey is
still.
what, power 2 or less, and it has cycling.
Yeah, or it's cycles. That was also an option in past turns.
Yeah,
Well, we got a Gloomfang Mauler that's gonna be cycled. It looks like, yeah, for a swamp. Not gonna cast anything this turn, but gotta
yeah.
do what you gotta
So
do.
we see him all against a 5, but it turns out he's hitting. He hit his land drops and he's drawn enough spells to not be in a bad spot here against Nick, who is a little short on lands.
I got good news for you if another land is drawn. It's a Chupacabra Echo in hand with a 4 on it.
That's a good play. So he's going to use the Captivating Cave here. He's going to make 2 threats, and he's going to attack Nick down to 9. So he needs that land right away here. And now Easy Prey does not appear to have a target, right? Okay, so Tithing
Does
Blade.
not have a target.
Tithing Blade will cut the clock in half here at least.
It's converted mana cost 2 or less. My bad. So
Oh,
it
okay.
would be able to execute out the token no matter
Okay, that
what. Yeah.
works. So,
Top deck returns Bloodletter of Alkalos, a black 1 bat creature.
okay, yeah. So we got an interesting one off the top here. I guess this is his blue splash, perhaps in his white red deck here. You're about to see Rona, the Herald of Invasion, and I believe he can transform it immediately. Yeah, he's just gonna make a. I believe it's a 5/5, right?
5/5 that has the obliterator kind of thing
Well,
going on.
yeah. Well, your opponent loses cards from their hand, and then you can cast them. I think.
That
Usually,
is a CMCC
usually it
though.
just wins the
Wait,
game, or opponent die, or like usually just wins the game or dies. It doesn't usually.
but hold on. Its CMC is still 2, right?
It should be, yeah, absolutely.
So you know what that means. He's going for Fanatical Offering, sacking Tithing Blade in order to look for a second land. It's kind of high stakes here, but
Okay.
oh, the land is a Necropolis.
Oh no.
Any untap land would have meant it would have gotten easy prey, even though it's
So
obliterating.
usually we see Screw beating Flood, but the Screw was just a little too, just went on a little too long. It was a little too elongated here um, for Nick.
Exact, the exact flip mana, the Phyrexian mana coming in handy there.
And we see the Malta 5. He ends up getting there. He hit his colors. He found enough things to do, and he beat the mana screwed opponent. It looks like he's sending a message here before looking through his deck. So it looks like he's red white with a few blue cards. He's on the side. He's on the side view, so I only see like his 1, 2s, and 3 drops.
I think Nick's been on a feature match recently. We have the Bringer. We have no
No,
sideboarding happening, but
no. He hasn't been on a feature match this league. We saw Bringer with somebody else this week.
oh, Chris
Chris G. Yeah.
versus Adam.
Yeah.
Versus Adam, yeah.
If you have not watched that, go check it out from this past Monday. That is, I said it in a post, but it's an early front runner for feature match of the year for next year. So that one was quite something. Anyway, Duncan's sort of
There were
looking through his deck here. Doesn't appear to be citing anything in just yet.
There are two copies of this card on a blue splash. The blue white uncommon that turns out 4/4 constructs or gnomes.
The
Master.
Master's Guide Mural.
Yeah, there are two
Okay.
of those splash. I
Okay,
noticed.
so he's splashing his black white. Okay, because to craft it, you do need double white.
Hmm.
Yeah, so
I guess there are enough Fighting Blade type
so
artifacts
Duncan's
and
got
stuff
about
like
four
that.
blue cards here. We saw one of them, Rona, Ifara's Dispersal, Tishana's Tidebinder, and Tamio's Epiphany, which is a draw spell from War of the Spark. Scry 4
Oh
you
yeah.
can draw to.
Oh yeah.
You don't usually see Scry 4 on anything, but yeah, card is good. And it seems like he has a few treasure makers to make it work, and he's got a nice hand this time. So definitely no mulligan to 5 on this side, and looks like Nick has kept as well. Let's see what's his plan.
Well, Gloomfang Mauler is going to be sent to the bin for a swamp. It looks like again. Creating minecart. You got Scampering Surveyor,
Okay,
the ramp around 4 again. We got another Tarian Soul Cleaver, a lot like last game. The other two cards are a Skullcap Snail, which we saw last game, and a Dusk Rose Reliquary, which is that one drop removal where you have to sack
okay.
thing.
Well, he'll have a treasure if he gets to attack with the minecart. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Duncan, a little, I mean, a decent hand starting on turn 3 here. He has Plundering Pirate, which he's about to play. He also has Sanguine Evangelist, which is the rare 2/1 that makes a bat when it comes and when it goes.
Battle Cry, yeah.
He's got a Tamio's Epiphany as well, the draw spell I spoke of. He's got 3 planes, and then he's got a decent 6 drop here, the Plane Cycler, Soaring Sandwing. So Skullcap Snail not going to be too much of a bother if to Duncan just get rid of a planes here. He still has 2 more lands, and he has a 6 drop to cast on time, and he has good spells to
We
cast
do
in the
get
meantime. I think
Snail's
Duncan's.
big enough to clear with minecart.
I imagine Duncan's going to just trade this off here. Yeah.
I didn't say the top deck last turn, but it's an Atris Oracle of Half Truth straight
Ooh,
from
I like that one.
Theros. Theros, yeah.
Well, it could have been in a mom pack also.
That's probably where it is, yeah.
So here
In my
comes.
mod league, I opened it in a Theros pack, though. I do remember that.
There you go. Yeah, so Sanguine Evangelist here making a bat token. It has Battle Cry. It makes a bat when it dies. Just a really good rare. Like just a 3 mana threat that is extremely good in almost all situations. And now we get to play a game, and I like games.
It's honest. Put them into piles. We get to know.
I
I
mean,
get to
4 mana
know.
3/2 that draws 2 cards. Like this card is wildly strong. Well,
And it's like
We're seeing three lands here on our side.
I knew you were gonna say that by the tone of your voice.
I mean, it's you still get to draw two cards, so now Duncan just has to decide how he wants to reveal them. I imagine he's going to reveal two lands and put a mystery card.
And then you're probably gonna give
Well, I
him
mean,
one land.
I guess that's the only choice. I guess you could reveal one land and put two mystery cards.
Yeah, you're never gonna be taking the one land,
Yeah.
so yeah, there's no
So
choice here.
let's see if Nick
Oh,
feels like he has
look at
enough
that.
lands. Okay, he feels. I just want my 3 for 1. I just want I don't care if they're lands. I get to draw two cards. Like this card's great.
Of the three cards in hand that aren't that plains, one of them ramps, so there's an impeccable timing, which I believe is kill attacking or blocking creature or do
I want to
damage.
make like a commander deck with Atris where like all the cards just make opponent make choices of stuff.
Yeah.
It's like every card's just like a little mini game. Ooh, we have a Tishana's Tidebinder off the top. That's a nice one. He's also got a Sunbird Standard, which is the mana rock for 3 mana that can craft into a flyer later. So not sure
And
how he wants to proceed. He could just play his flyer, his 6 drop. He could draw cards with the Epiphany, or he could play the mana rock and hold up Tidebinder to try and counter an ability. But there's not that many. It'd have to be from something in Nick's hand, or I guess a land. So let's see.
oh, getting in for one.
Okay, looks like he's just gonna go for the standard here. Not playing standard, not the format, just the card.
No, 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 no. Of course not.
So I
Top deck for
think Duncan is just hoping that Nick goes for like a discovering his land, and then he can nab it with the Tidebinder.
that's cool.
That
Yeah.
would be sort of the number one plan, number one outcome here. But for now, there's gonna be attack for 4,
The top deck was a Vanguard of Duskuros, that 3/1 that
the
can
three
kill
one. Okay.
artifact or enchantment.
Uh,
Is that what it
no,
does?
it's
Or
sacks.
is
It sacks to gain indestructible. I guess he could
it
counter. He
indestructible?
could counter this trigger. I mean, I don't think it's gonna get better. This is what he was planning to do this turn anyway. So
Wasn't incredibly needed for Nick at the time, so it's all right.
yeah, I mean, obviously, he would have preferred if Nick just tried to discover with his land. That would have been best I can. Okay, he's got a petrify here, so that could keep the Atris sort of locked down if he wants, or he could just save it for something a little bigger. So looks like he's gonna attack all here.
That's gonna trigger Tarians.
Yeah. So now this will eat the Evangelist. So nice little play there. I mean,
Which grows the actress.
yeah. So
But
so
as you said,
yeah. So this is kind of where you see the Soul Cleaver kind of excelling, but I think in general it's a little situational. Like in some games, it's not going to do enough, and we see just a bounty of decent cards here on this scry. So he has a Magmatic Galleon, which is that 5 mana rare, the boat that deals 5 damage.
oh yeah,
He's got a Miner's Guidewing, another Petrify, and he put a Mountain to the bottom, and he kept all the others. So he has a Petrify. Next turn, he's going to draw another Petrify.
and Galleon in hand.
And he's got the Miner's Guidewing and the Galleon and the Soaring Sandwing. So he's got stuff to do here, and it doesn't look like he's under too much pressure. What's Nick still holding there?
Um, Scroll Shift to Blink, who was the top deck. Pretty
Oh,
pretty darn good.
oh,
And
and draw.
the only
Okay,
downside is you lost a couple of counters, but you saved your creature and got 2 cards, 1 card extra in your hand. So
okay.
pretty good.
We are not seeing 3 lands here. We see an Easy Prey, a Desert's Hold, which is a pacifism variant from Amonkhet, and Plains.
Yeah.
Looks like he's gonna reveal the Desert's Hold, and Nick's gonna probably draw the 2 cards, which is a Easy Prey and a land. And he says Desert Hold can stop my big flyer, but Easy Prey can't.
So he's removing a bat with
Okay, so he's just gonna
Prey.
Easy Prey. He
Going.
wants to get in here for 5. Yeah.
You're the scamper too, making it a 4/3 you can't ignore.
All right. So now he's got some options. Duncan does. He has 7 mana, so he could play Galleon and Petrify if he wants. He'll make a treasure. He'll get the treasure back that he's spent to do this. So Yeah,
Galleon, pretty
yeah.
useful.
We've seen Galleon in the future match area before this league. John P has two of them. Well, we'll actually be seeing him a bit later, so perhaps we'll see multiple Galleons again. Here comes Guidewing, and then
Yeah.
okay,
So
so
another land off the
so
top.
he's deciding
So
not to petrify. He's just going to take a bit of damage this turn from the Atris, I guess. Or I guess he could double block it.
there's there's more choices for Nick than it looks because of the two caves.
Yeah,
Looks like he's gonna empty the
he has
hand though
three
here.
caves. It looks like
Well, yeah, one that
yes,
buffs
yeah,
one
he
to
has
the
two
discover.
discovers and one of the +1 counter caves. So of note, Duncan cannot yet. He can't crew his vehicle. It's crew 3, I believe.
I think what's going on is he's holding up a sack skull cap at instant speed to grow Atris. I
Yeah,
think that's how all those cards work.
yeah. So Duncan sort of fell into this, before of the cleaver being able to put a counter on something on its on its creature at instant speed. So it looks like he's just gonna fall into it again, I suppose.
Oh, let's see if he. I mean, he gets the export trigger if he makes the Galena creature, right? Or does it has
No, it
crew
has
three? It
crew
probably.
3, so
Oh, never
he's just losing all his permanents, and the Atris is growing by even two more. There is a path. Oh, it does. Oh, it has crew 2. Excuse me.
Oh, there you go.
I thought it had
He
crew
gets
3.
to explore.
It's been.
Explore the ship explores alone.
I don't think I cast that card very much. So it's I was confusing it with the blue red card. That
Yeah, exactly
the
the one
blue
that he can
red
play off.
card has crew 3. It sort of draws cards conditionally.
Yeah, you
So
can create the top
Sunfire
view
Torch is on top here. I don't think that's gonna do it.
though. No one to crew.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
just the Dust Rose
he's
Reliquary left in hand. It looks like it's being used
he might just use
with
it.
yeah.
Yeah. He said, let me just dump this galleon here. So we're kind of gonna get a little mini reset here because Duncan can play as Petrify on Atris, and he can play his Sandwing to gain 3 life, and he's drawn the Seismic Monster Sword, which is the red land cycler. So he basically could do Petrify and then cast one of his 6 drops here to hopefully stabilize the board. But Nick does have more resources than it looks like with his lands, like we mentioned.
I don't know if ever Duncan gets some sort of removal for the Reliquary, but that instant speed boat coming back
Looks like
might
he
be
was thinking
so
about crafting. Okay, no, he's gonna add mana first. Okay, now he's gonna craft. Okay,
3 colors.
so I assume he's making a 3/3. I would have to guess. Yeah.
Making 3 colors, that's vigilance and haste, so it can get in right away.
Does it still tap for mana or?
I believe so.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, it might even be 3 mana it taps for. I don't remember exactly. I'll look it up. Actually,
I did not cast that card very much. The format was a little bit hostile to it, at least for draft. I could see it in league a bit more, but in draft it was just a little hostile.
sure does. It sure does. It adds 3 mana too.
Okay.
I mean, one per color.
Okay, it taps for each of the colors of the. Oh, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
I understand how the card works now. Ooh,
Oh,
that's a
that's
nice
a
one.
good one. And it's gonna start draining.
Yep, he's
Ooh.
got the descend. He might draw some cards here.
How do you hit 4 on Discover 4? I never do that.
With a high skill level.
Looking at 2 swamps on the top. I think just checking life totals and if it's gonna be too much damage, but the drains, so it's kind of only like 2 damage you're taking if you draw.
He's taking 4 and his opponent's losing 2. I mean, I like drawing cards, but I don't know if he needs swamps that badly here. Okay,
Looks like 1 and 1.
yeah, okay, he's going for the moderate choice here. Okay, I respect that. And in comes a
Seems to
three
do.
one.
I've never seen a card draw spell cast with with this thing at descent 8 or more.
Yeah, usually it just dies, or you paid 6 life and then you lose the game because you drew too many. You lost too much life drawing cards, which is fine with me. I will always do that. All right, well, get a nice flyer here, gain some life.
That's 3 more dreams to survive.
Yeah, and there's a 6/5 trample coming down next turn.
Oh, oh boy.
Okay, tell
This
us.
is a combo. We got Amalia coming down, and whenever you gain life, which is going to be every draw, it explores.
I assume we're not going infinite like they're doing in Historic right now with the
I guess not.
Wild Growth Walker, which says whenever you explore, you gain 3 life.
Discover.
Okay,
Oh,
that's a nice hit.
no.
All right, that's a very nice hit. It's gonna cause a lot of trouble here for Duncan. He's getting attacked for 7.
Kind of helps a
He
lot.
can't really even block profitably because uh, Nick can just sack the Atros.
That was 2 very lucky discovers, I must say, because that Sandwing was holding back both the creatures.
Yeah, well, that's where those lands are good. Like sometimes you pay 5 mana, you tap your land, you sack it, and you don't really affect the game. But sometimes you get really good hits, and he's got good hits this game. Oh, he's he's emoting now.
That swing was going to happen anyway with the Sandwing still blocking, but this makes it a lot more deadly.
Well, the 3/1 can't attack into the Sandwing, right? So he's just gonna take the
Again, that's
damage here, and he's on a basically 2 turn clock, right? From the Revenant.
actually, yeah, that attack probably wouldn't have happened, come to think of it.
No,
Is that
yeah, no.
2?
The 3/5 changes a lot. I don't know if the 6/5 changes all that much. Nick can just sort of sit here and in 2 turns, game just ends.
Let's see Amalia with Starving Revenant synergy. Let's see it.
I like it. I'm a fan. Like if you're gaining life and drawing cards, like I'm happy. Yeah, yeah, Malia turns out like often a little bit hard to use in
Oh,
limited, but we're
remember
seeing the
how I
benefit
said I
here.
never? Remember I said I never saw a draw effect with this thing? Well, Fanatical Offering.
Okay, well that'll do it. And with no cards in hand, Duncan's pretty much playing face up, so he can just go ahead and do that right away. And I think he will. There you go. All right, well that's a draw, and we see a bringer on top there too, just for good measure. We we were just mentioning that
So
earlier
sack the Reliquary.
as a power move.
Just
Yeah,
don't.
sack the
Then you can
reliquary.
shoot the Revenant.
Sack the reliquary as a power move. I guess yeah. I guess he does have a draw here and 3 mana to spend on something, but I guess if he drew an instant speed removal, no, even if he drew an instant speed removal, uh, he'd still be dead to 2 attackers here. So yeah, the Starving Revenant coming at just the right time and really putting the screws here to Duncan and giving him a few less options here. That was
Let's go right into.
a tough end of the game, and those discovers coming up very clutch. Discovering into the Revenant, discovering into the pacifism. It was the petrify.
Yeah. He's splashing blue. So 2 Master's Guide murals and an Atris are being splashed off of Zagoth's Triumph, captivating game in 2 islands.
It worked.
Probably
He got
some
there.
treasure
But he
around.
has a scampering surveyor too to go get a land.
Yeah. Yeah, and the treasure, the Careening Minecart.
Yeah, minecart. Yeah, yeah.
Ooh, Thousand Moon Smithy in the deck. Card I really like.
I I don't think I like it because I never got to play it, and I only had it played against me, so I don't care for the card
Makes sense. That makes
very
sense.
much. All my interactions with it have been negative because it usually just wins the game.
There's a card called Grind. Is that Grind to Dust? What does that do?
It's a aftermath card from Amonkhet. So you cast the first half from your hand, and then you cast the second half from your graveyard.
Yes, yes, yes.
It's 1 and a black. You put a -1 counter on up to 2 creatures, and then the white part is you exile any number of creatures with -1 counters. So basically, for 6 mana, you get to exile 2 of your opponent's things.
And you can pay in installments. That's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
or you could also just pick off like X1s with it as well. It's kind of like a Chandra's Pyrohelix in a way,
Mm-hmm.
a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, it can deal one. It could deal 1 to 2 different things. So a very very nice pickup there in a pack of Amonkhet.
There's a Malicious Eclipse. I don't know if that was brought in from the sideboard or not. That's -2/-2 to all creatures and exile if they
Seems to
die.
kill a lot of his stuff, but maybe he saw red white and he thought, okay, it's a bunch of little dudes. But I mean, yes, Duncan is playing a red white deck, but it doesn't appear to be just like a bunch of little dudes. I mean, there's like Miner's Guidewings and stuff like that, but oh, we got perfect mana with that hand. It was 2 islands, 2 plains, 2 mountains, and a plundering pirate. Now he's got 2 plains, an island, 2 mountains, and 2 white cards. So a bit more playable with the Tinker's Toad here. What's Nick looking at over there?
Well, Deep Cavern Bat's more than likely coming on
Oh yeah,
too, but there's also a Tithing Blade, Easy Prey, a Sandwing with no white source now, so it's probably going to be cycled, and a Ray of Ruin, and the Fossilize was just drawn.
all right. So it's a pretty decent hand here, and he's gonna see the damage here, and the recently drawn Galleon could be the card to get taken here. Yeah,
Not castable yet,
figures
but
as much. Well, I mean, it's the scariest card.
yeah.
Often with the Deep
You
Cavern
gotta-
Bat, you just take the thing that kills the bat. Like
Yep,
that's
makes sense.
that's usually how the card plays out, because otherwise it just gets removed.
Tithing Blade versus Tinker's Toad. I drafted this set
Yeah.
yesterday, and this kind of situation happened for my opponent in favor of
This
me.
this is what I envisioned Tithing Blade to be when I saw the set get previewed, and then my opponent always just kills my like 3 drop with it. I
Okay.
anointed it as the card that I will never want to play and will always lose against. I've come up a little bit on it, but yeah, in this matchup, not looking great in that spot. Roaming Throne here, nice draw. He did name Dinosaur. He does have a Sandwing in hand. Presumably, he might have a couple other dinosaurs that might do something with the trigger, but uh,
Yeah.
in red white, he's not playing too many dinosaurs. They just said, look,
Okay.
I have a Sandwing in hand. Let's just get value from it.
Next play, more than likely, is going to be putting Sandwing in the bin, defossilizing it back, which is pretty. I don't know if it's going to make a big Sandwing, more than likely.
This is actually going to get around this sideboard card that Duncan just drew. So Duncan just drew he sided in Siphon Essence, which is a 3 mana counter spell that
Just
counters
stop.
a creature. Then you make a blood
Ooh,
token. So this is actually going to get
oh,
around that very brutally.
that is perfect. That could be game winning.
Yeah, and this is why. So I'm just not like, even though I love playing blue, I'm not a big counterspell fan, especially ones that are situational. Like 3 mana
Oh,
counter a creature is already asking a lot. And
he went for it, but there was actually another play possible, which is Mischievous Pup top deck and Tithing Blade to get rid of the creature
oh,
on
there's a
board. But
Chupacabra Echo on top. So
um,
looks like we're just getting a nice big flyer here. All right. Yeah, so just especially brutal here with the Siphon Essence, and Duncan immediately moused over a Siphon Essence and then probably took a sigh. Not that he had another
no,
play that turn. He literally did not have another play, so it's not like he didn't get punished for not taking a different line, but just unfortunate there. He does still get to leave up his Siphon Essence here, so that's something.
it's, looking in favor of Nick right now. He's got a Master's Guide Mirror, which gets around you that card as well. Let's see if he goes for that play. There's 3 ways to remove creatures if you play Pup
Yeah.
into
So
Tithing
once
Blade.
again, playing around. Yeah, Duncan's just looking at this card. And he's like, "Oh no," and he sided it in, just seeing like a few good creatures that were threats, but just the defossilize and the Master's Guide Mural just are laughing at this Siphon Essence. At least he gets to play this. He does get to gain 6 life um, from this Roaming Throne. So
And it looks like he can block, but the Ray of Ruin can take care of that
Roaming
card.
Throne already like in paper like a $25 card because it's just a staple in every tribal commander deck ever.
Yeah, those doubles of like everything.
Yeah, it just goes in. There's so many decks. Like I think I have
That's
I
cute.
think I have four commander decks that want a roaming throne, but like I said, they're rather expensive. So yeah, Ray of Ruin on the flyer. Just get in for 9. Yeah. I mean,
Game's not gonna last that much
I
longer.
think he's just trading his roaming throne. He has nothing else to do with it.
The game will not last much longer. Bloodletter of Alkalots is on top, doubles the
Oh
damage,
yeah.
so it's castable.
Yep, very much so. All right. Well, he does have the Siphon Essence, at least for that.
I see, I see.
So it'll finally get its man a few turns too late, but
Oh, you have to pay 4 for that, is it?
yeah, it'll finally counter something. Uh,
Oh no, it's not pay 4. It's just get a blood. Okay.
yeah,
Too many variants.
it's a blood. Yeah, yeah. He sided it in. I guess he saw some bomby type creatures, and he said, let me take." He saw Bringer. He saw Starving Revenant. You know, it's a pretty reasonable choice. He does have a Rock Slide here to get rid of the Sandwing next turn.
It's gonna be saved with Mischievous Pup though.
Hmm, brutal. All right.
It's still an unflipped Master's Guide mural. It's not looking too good for Duncan.
No, well, here's a Carnosaur, but I think he has to Rock
Oh,
Slide first.
well, Carnosaur can find who knows.
Yeah, Carnosaur does the work. Yeah, so now he's really has to think here about whether he wants to Rock Slide or Carnosaur. As we know, the Rock Slide is going to be blown out, but he doesn't know that. But
There was
he's
an option there to use the pup to block and bounce
okay.
Tithing Blade to your
Interesting,
hand.
interesting. He's just basically saying, "I'll take another 5," which is quite a lot when he's at 11. That's like basically half his life. And this Deconstruction Hammer,
Hell yeah.
not
Let's
really. Yeah, this is sort of the downside of Discover. Putting a big Discover number doesn't make the card better because you're still just as likely to hit a 1 drop or 2 drop.
Tithing Blade's probably gonna be taking care of the pirate unless another because the Chupacabra only has a one thing in the graveyard.
I mean,
Doesn't give mine
at
two.
18, like I honestly don't think Nick's that concerned about the dinosaur. He has a clock in the air here. Honestly, he can just flip the Tithing Blade and try and win next turn.
So the land, the cave on the bat means
Oh yeah,
life
yeah,
gain.
that works too. Yeah,
Pretty nice.
yeah. So Duncan now untaps. He draws a tap land, kills the Sandwing, still takes 3, and it's quite bad for him because there's still the Tithing Blade, there's still the mural, and he has nothing going on. The 7/6 is not gonna do enough damage with the time that he has left.
Yep.
So
So just
looks like we're gonna get a victory here from Nick, who's looks like it. I think Duncan surveying his options, but with a tap land and a Rock Slide, it's not too much he can do here. He can give himself, he can untap next turn probably, but he's going to be at 1.
yeah, that plane cycling into defossilized, turning up and getting around the counter spell turned out to be
And the Master's Guide mural was also brutal. Like him
right
just sitting there
after.
with a counter spell and his mana just getting set on fire. And like I said, he wasn't holding that up instead of playing something, but it's still brutal that his counter spell just didn't stop these things that led to Nick taking over the game here.
I think to the mural, but Tithing Blade is lethal if you untap with it.
Yeah,
But of course, the Carnosaur could take care of Tithing Blade, but then it's
sure,
tapped.
it sure
So
can.
I like
And
this.
Duncan does have 2 draws now, like with his tap land, the Cataract, but there's 2 forms of lethal here. Sanguine Evangelist is a blocker for the flyer, um, but he does need to kill the Tithing Blade before upkeep.
Got to pay 3 at sorcery speed basically and
And
play out the
Chupacabra,
creature.
and if he plays yeah,
Yeah,
if he uses the
Chupacabra.
hammer, his Carnosaur's tapped, and then he plays Evangelist. He makes two
Yeah,
blockers, but
Chupacabra.
the Chupacabra can get rid of the 1/1 bat. So I
Yeah,
think he has to discover here
yep.
and just hope to hit something that kills an artifact. This is very, very specific.
Gain life. Gain your life.
Nope, that's not
Gain,
it.
gain 10 life.
So it looks like Nick is getting victory number 17 here in the league, jumping right back up into the top 8 here, trying to get his third top 8, I believe. So third or fourth. All right. So yeah, congratulations to Nick starting off week 6 on a good note here as we head into the home stretch of the league, and we'll be back in a little bit with our second match of the night.